I do have to shut the sound off. I have YouTube on my phone, and I do have to remember to shut the sound off. Stacy Salisbury, who is our board liaison for today, had a death in the family, and so she's hoping to get here for the meeting. Do we have another board member who'd like to read the welcome, or if not, oh yeah, thank you, Mary.
Good morning. My name is Miriam Andrews-Ullman. I am a member of the Board of Trustees and a member of UU Singers. Welcome to our service. Unitarian Universalism encourages an open-ended search for meaning in life and a commitment to asking our values to shape our actions. We are a pluralistic religion that draws wisdom from many sources. We welcome all people into our beloved community of whatever age, race, class, ethnicity, physical ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or religious background. We especially welcome those of you who may be worshiping with us for the first time. We invite you to join us downstairs after service for coffee and snacks so we can get to know each other better. Guests are welcome to participate in any activities in our community. If you would like more information about the congregation or if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask me, any member, or Reverend Jay. Thank you for your presence here today, whether in person or online. And as a reminder, after the service today at 11:15 is our annual meeting. So if you are a member, this is one of the things guests cannot participate in. You're welcome to join, but you cannot vote. So voting members, we ask you to please stay because we do have to have a quorum, a certain number of people in order to have a vote. We'll be voting on members for the Leadership Development Committee, members for the Board of Trustees, and a couple of bylaw amendments just to make some clarifications, and of course on the annual budget. So please join us back here in the sanctuary at 11:15 or online. Thank you.
Our opening words this morning are from Mary Oliver. I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and I look upon time as no more than an idea, and I consider eternity as another possibility. I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy, and as singular, and each name a comfortable music in the mouth, tending, as all music does, towards silence. In each body a lion of courage and something precious to the earth.
Please join us in lighting the chalice, the words which will be on the screen. In the light of truth, in the warmth of love, we gather to see, to sustain, and to inspire. I invite you to rise in body and or spirit for our opening hymn, number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. We will sing it 3 times. First time all together, and the second and third will be in a round. This is like group 1-ish, that's group 2-ish, that's group 3-ish, and of course I can't really choose what group you're in, so that's up to you. But I'll be doing the third one, second one, and first one. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no care of and of despair. Come yet again, come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, hour of leaving, ours is no care of and of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, hour of leaving, ours is no care of and of despair. Come yet again, come.
By the way, hello, I'm Reverend Jay Wolin, and it is great to be with you here this morning. I see some longtime members who've moved away, some new visitors today, and I just want to say, and I don't even know who's online, but welcome to you as well. Welcome to all. So glad to see you here today. Now, for our words for all ages, we're going to invite the children up if they'd like. We have a video for you here if you want to come up and watch, and Aubrey Ryan will do the next part. Come on down. That's children of all ages in heart and or spirit.
Nearly 100 years ago, the Unitarian minister Norbert offered his Czechoslovakian congregation a ritual to respond to their questions about how to be a community that welcomed rather than suppressed diversity. Czechoslovakia was a country formed in the aftermath of war, struggling just 5 years after the end of that war with questions of belonging and identity, trust and anxiety. Chopak's ritual took the traditional bread and wine communion that his community was too heretical for and too resistant to these usual symbols and played with this ritual. He turned instead to the beauty of nature all around him and invited each of his congregants to find a flower and bring it to the church on Sunday. That each person would find the flower that was beautiful to them was a symbol of their affirmation that each of us has a piece of the truth, our unique sense of what beauty means. On their way into the church, his congregation was in turn invited, each of them, to place that flower in a vase, which symbolized their free choice to enter into community alongside all the other people that saw beauty in their own way, symbolized by their flowers placed there as well. A free church where people freely choose to walk together across their differences. Once everyone had gathered, they bring the vase forward. Then Minister Chopak would bless it. And then he'd invite everyone to choose a flower to take home with them, but just not the one that they came with. Again, this free choice affirmed each person's choice to be blessed by another and to receive with an open heart their different understandings of beauty and to feel connected rather than divided by this difference. In this moment where so many forces seek to divide people, to play on our fears of differences and our anxieties of the other, here we remember that we freely choose to walk together and to be blessed by the differences between us and to see these differences as beauty.
And so, although I am, oh, well, if you want to watch it again, I can always send it to you. There we go. So I'm Jay. Nice to see you all. Some I've met before, some I haven't. So it's hello. Can I get a hello? Okay. So here are the flowers. It's really beautiful. They're all very different and unique. Who can tell me what some of the different colors of the flowers are? Go ahead, just name it out. Yellow, red, yeah. What, pink? Yeah, oh yeah, those are pretty. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, you with your hand up. Yeah, yellow, yeah. So lots of different flowers. And there is green, is right. Yes, there is. Yellow, green, red, there's a little lime color. So lots of different colors. And just like there are lots of different people, right? We all look different. Some are taller, some are shorter. Like these are shorter flowers than these, right? These are sunflowers. I don't know. I'm not a flower person, so I don't know what they all are. But you see, they're all different. Some are tall, some are colory, they're all colory. Some are in what? Red swirly, yes. Some are in big bowls, some are vases, some are in smaller ones. So, well, no, that is actually a vase, not a beer bottle. But maybe some people do drink beer from that. I don't know. I'm not a beer drinker, so I don't know. But it does. Okay. I like an act. Yeah, I guess I could see that. I've never used it for that. Okay. Okay, well, thank you. It's okay. And so that's just the point. We're all different, just like all the flowers are different. So I am going to bless these flowers, just like Norman Chopik did he started this in 1923 in Czechoslovakia. And then, anybody? Well, I don't have a map of Czechoslovakia, so I'm not going to ask that. It's in Europe. Just trust me on that. And then his wife came to the United States. They were Unitarians, and they brought it here to the United States. And these are similar to his words when he blessed them in his church almost 100 years ago. Next year will be the 100th anniversary of the flower communion. Pretty exciting. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask your blessing on these messengers of friendship and love. May they remind us, amid our diversities of experience, knowledge, and gifts, that we are all one. And we should be devoted to our lives together, and that what we do is holy and beautiful. May they also remind us of the value of community, of doing and sharing with one another. May we cherish friendship as a precious gift. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship. But may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed. May we be strengthened by the knowledge that one Spirit, the Spirit of love, unites us. And may we continue to work together season after season after season towards a more joyful and peaceful life for all. With these sentiments, we bless these flowers. Can I hear you say it? We bless these flowers. Thank you. May they bring you beauty and joy. Amen. Woo! Oh, now in peace, may the spirit of love Thank you for that harmony. Uh, so, just as flowers need water and nourishment and care in order to grow, even if they're in the wild, right, they still need the environment that allows them to grow. So do we as a congregation need to have nourishment to grow. And with that thought, we will be taking our offering today. 50% of our offering this month. I don't know who it's going. Who is it? Oh, it's going to QCI or okay. So please be as generous as you can, and then when if you'd like as well, we invite you to come down to light a candle to mark a joy or sorrow in your life as well. For those online, we invite you to as well put a joy or sorrow in the chat if you would like it read. After the musical interlude. Let this sacred time begin. Each week we gather, we recognize our joys and sorrows, some written in the book of joys and sorrows, which is outside the sanctuary when you walk in. If you'd like, we encourage you to write them in there. Some have put them online, some like candles, some just keep them in the silent sanctuaries of their heart. Today, people who would like to be noted for joys and sorrows, the Key family. So glad to be back in person. I saw you back there. It is so good to have you back in person. Thank you. Good to see everybody. As well, online, Molly and Jean, we appreciate the spiritual leadership of all of you. I want to especially thank our musicians for their priceless contributions and gifts. I think that's absolutely, thank you. I'd also like to personally note both joy and sorrow. Yesterday, we had finally the over 2 year delayed celebration of life for Joanne Crane. And so I just wanted to note that. And as well, on the other side, I mean, it is both a joy and a sorrow that we were able to finally, after 2 years, have that. And many of their family did come and join in, as well as special thanks to our pastoral care team who just organized a wonderful reception downstairs. Afterwards, if any of you are here and would like to stand up if you participated in that or not, but let's give them, I know some of them are here today, so let's give them a round of applause as well. Online, Therese Guys would like to share a sorrow for friends who are struggling with illness and difficult life circumstances, but great joy for my friends. And Tom LaJudas, a little hospitalization keeps me awake today, thankful to the technology and people who make remote access possible. And so we send him our healing prayers, and so that he may be able to return to us in person soon. So let us now take a time of silence to just contemplate our own joys and sorrows, as well as those of the people around us and those that we care about and love. I will take us out of the silence with a poem adapted by the Reverend Alan Deal. Flowers, speak to us of joy. May joy be with you. Flowers give us hope when life begins anew each spring. May hope begin anew each spring in your heart. Flowers stand for sharing. May we share together the beauty of these flowers. Flowers send a message of sympathy. May you feel sympathy for others. And flowers tell of friendship. May your friendships be everlasting. May it be so. So nice, thank you. I mean, really, really just beautiful with both the chimes, the choir, and the piano. Really, really creative. Thank you. So, as you heard with the children before, I'm really not much of a gardener or a beer drinker for that matter. But I've always appreciated gardens and the beauty of gardens. I was very lucky, although I grew up in the Bronx, which had a lot of concrete, but they did have a wonderful, beautiful botanical gardens, and it was like an oasis in the middle of a desert. As much as I enjoyed all these very structured, planted flowers, I have to admit I am just enamored with the beautiful weeds that grow in the field and in the wild. Uh, there's just something to them when I come across them. And my wife wants me to mow the lawn all the time. And I'm like, well, but the beautiful flowers, they're not flowers, they're weeds, Jay. No, I don't know. I can't tell the difference. But in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, it includes, and I quote, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, about what you will wear. Is not the is not the body more than clothing? Why do you worry about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, right? They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not clothed like one of these. Therefore, do not worry, saying, what will we wear? But strive for righteousness. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring worries of its own. Today's trouble is enough for today. End quote. And it does seem like we do have a lot of troubles today, and that's why we come together in community, to be together, to walk with each other with our troubles as well as our joys. So Jesus there is talking about living in the present moment, to not worry about the future, to have faith in the universe and that the universe will provide what we need. Now, when I was first preparing for ministry, I wrote the following affirmations, which I had written it on a piece of paper that I kept in my wallet. And after a while, it just got all crumpled up and ripped and torn. And so finally, my wife, Jen, actually sewed it onto something that I could hang in my room and look at. I know it's a little hard to read, so I'll read to you. And it said, I will follow my vision. I will persevere. I will greet each day with wonder and curiosity. I will love, and I am love, and I will trust the universe. It brought it back. I found it when I was packing. It actually hasn't been up on my wall since I've been in Iowa. It's been in a box for 11 years. And so as we were packing, we found this and I hung it back up. And for me, and so when I was reading the quote from Jesus about that in the universe, it just connected the two. So, what does it mean to trust the universe, right? For me, it meant to trust my instinct about how I wanted to spend the rest of my life, right? Not knowing what the future holds. Do we let go of that sure thing, even if it's unfulfilling, which admittedly can still provide, a measure of certainty in an uncertain world? But the thing is, we never know when our life is going to end. I had friends who I grew up with who died before I was 18. Although I didn't have the words for it then, it showed me what I would say now is the impermanence of life. Sometimes, sometimes that impermanence or that trauma or tragedy, right, can sometimes have someone will want to crave security then, right, to try and control every outcome of their existence. And hopefully, over time, we can accept and understand that although there are things we can control in our lives and our world, there are just so many aspects of our lives that we have very little control over. And this was cemented into me when a good friend of mine, again, we were both around the age 40, we were raising our children together, was killed while riding their bicycle. Through no fault of their own, they were sideswiped by a car. And as well, during my ministry, as preparation for ministry as a chaplain in a hospital, it showed me the vagaries of life, how things happen for seemingly no reason. And it is a reminder to all of us that we shouldn't wait to do those things that are on our bucket list. We should do them now, while we have the opportunity, while we are healthy. Um, Now, that's not necessarily a reason to be reckless. I just want to say this or throw everything away. Maybe it is. That's, of course, each person can only answer that for themselves. For me, I always try to find what the Buddhists call the middle way, or Aristotle would call it the mean between the extremes, right? Not a compromise, but a higher plane that allows us to find a path that encompasses a multitude of our values, because all our values sometimes clash with each other, right? We want a little certainty in the midst of uncertainty, yet we also want some excitement in the midst of mundane, and sometimes those don't all match up. Another reaction to impermanence, other than illusory control, though, is that it can lead to a complete abandonment of norms, a wildness, like wildflowers, right? Almost an abandonment of societal values. I think we've seen some of this lately. An abandonment of societal norms is not necessarily good or bad, right? Depending on, in and of itself, depending on where you stand on something, or what you believe, or what your values are. As long as it's authentic, though, that to me, and not a response based on fear or guilt or anger. So rejection of norms should be done based on a values-driven approach with the goal of changing the norms for society. I feel that is what we do here, a balance of intentional structure and wildness of ideas in some ways, right? Exploring, stretching our minds, taking in new information from people. We create a structure where people can examine and explore without fear what their religious and spiritual beliefs are, in community with one another, helping each other learn and grow as we learn from each other. I think of our third principle, acceptance of one another and encouragement of spiritual growth in our congregations. Right, so we accept you and love you for who you are, and now change, please, right? We're never satisfied religiously with the status quo, whether it's incorporating science into religion or mysticism, because truthfully, science seems very mystical to me. One year I did a whole sermon series on this with black holes, quarks, nebulas, string theory, the vast amount of space unknown and unknowable. I mean, that's very mystical to me, right? Multiverses, right? Think about that. That's very popular nowadays, I guess, because of Marvel, the multiverse. But that actually came from string theory, actually, that there are multiple universes. Unproven yet, but it's a theory. But with advancement, right, we now know so much more than we did 50 years ago. And I imagine 50 years from now, we will know much more than we know now, right? But it takes pushing boundaries to grow, right? It takes getting out of our comfort zone in order to grow. It takes being a little wild in order to grow. They thought it wild when Copernicus said the sun was the center of the universe and not the earth. They thought it wild when we said slavery should be abolished. They thought it wild when we said that women should have the right to vote and then later equal rights and then the right to control her reproductive health care. They thought that was wild. But then it became the status quo, right? They think it's wild when we say we want to teach young people about having healthy, authentic sexual identities and to teach racism about America in our schools. They think that is wild, but it's not. It will and has been the new status quo, and that is what people are struggling with. Still, I would say uncontained wildness with no structure can lead to anarchy, which, in my opinion, leads to destruction, not growth. Although sometimes you need to destroy a system to build a system, but sometimes you just need to find that middle way, like building a model of an alternative system to see if it can work. And so, like Norbert Chapek, if we can put it, yeah, there he goes, he created this flower community. He was originally from Czechoslovakia, and when he came to America, he had come to America because he was persecuted by the Germans right around World War I because he had some very progressive views and anti-war views. And he was then, when he came to America, he was a Baptist minister at first, and he was expelled by the Baptists for heresy. And for those who don't know, the word heresy means to choose. Um, and so he and his wife eventually became Unitarian ministers, actually. And they decided to go back to Czechoslovakia, and they started a Unitarian Universalist church in Prague that grew to over 3,000 people. And like his Czechoslovakian forebearer, Jan Hus, who rejected the Roman Catholic teachings and was burned at the stake in the 15th century by the Roman Catholics, Chapek refused to bow to the Nazi regime in the 20th century and died in the Dachau concentration camps. But just before he was put to death in Dachau, Dr. Chapek wrote this prayer, reflecting on his life and the state of his spirit. It is and I quote here, "It is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for sacred ideals. Oh, blow ye evil winds into my body's fire, my soul will never unravel. Even though disappointed thousands of times or fallen in the fight, and everything would seem worthless, I have lived amidst eternity. Be grateful, my soul, my life was worth living. He who has pressed from all sides but remained victorious in spirit is welcomed into the choir of heroes. He who has overcame the fetters, giving wing to the mind, is entering into the golden age of the victorious." End quote. May we all live our lives in such a way. So persevere, my friends, persevere in this beautiful, important, and meaningful tradition that encourages your very uniqueness in an inclusive community, a beloved community. May it be so. I now invite you to rise in body and or spirit for our closing hymn, number 1028, The Fire of Commitment.
From the light of days remembered turns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and assurance of the flame that burns within. Then our promise finds fulfillment, and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment, and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our minds full of grace, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment, and our future can begin.
Our closing words are from the Reverend Jacob Trapp. May the love that makes life beautiful, the reverence that makes life holy, and the truth that makes us free lead us onward together into a deepening and growing communion of life. And so let us now extinguish the chalice, the words of which will be up on the TV screen. Extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Until we are together again. And so as we get ready for the postlude, I will, while that is playing, invite you to come up and to choose a flower to take home. We take these flowers just as they come to symbolize our acceptance of each other as siblings in communion with one another. The flowers we take represent our connection to the world and to each other. So to take a flower that is not yours, meaning you don't know necessarily who even brought that flower, and yet you are connected to that person and will be. So I invite you, as opposed to this playing, and then remember, after that, we will be setting up for our annual meeting. Grab a cup of coffee, and we'll call you back up when we're ready. So let this sacred time begin.